Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing this morning? Before we make the announcement, we've got Real Estate TK, Mr. Bob Sadai, Brandon, Kinsey, Tardion, Sebastian, The Real MKT, Vincent, Reyes, Dalton Woods in the house, Mr. D, Gabriel,
Ooh.
Castillo, Matcha Drake, Joseph, Sotos, PDRE, and Kiddo. Some dedicated people here, Bob.
I hear you. These are some people who want to surround themselves with some like-minded people. Let's put it that way. That's awesome. I'm glad to have you guys here. Good morning, everyone. PDRE, the man, the myth, the legend. How's it going, brother? Wakey Wednesday. Love it. Yeah, I was trying to come up with something with W today. I just said, I'm done. I tapped out. I just said top of the morning. How's everybody doing? How are you doing, John?
Feeling good. I feel a lot better today than I did yesterday. I was out of it yesterday.
Yeah.
I got off. I went to sleep. I took a long rest. Very, very much needed.
Yeah, I think I need to do that today. I'm a little off my game right now, but it's all good. I had a hell of a workout today.
Nice.
I am so sore from yesterday and today. Tomorrow I'm going to feel it really bad, but it's all good.
Gotta get your protein, Bob.
Oh yeah, first thing, protein shake with your creatine, and then get some breakfast right after that. Yep. Can't lose those proteins or muscles, I should say, especially in my age.
Oh no. Only going up from here.
Yeah, you're bulking up. I'm trying to maintain. Hopefully you're all having a successful week. Haven't been on Discord as much, but it's good to be back. We are glad to have you back, Will. Thank you for joining us. Hope you have some something to share with us. Maybe a question, maybe an experience, whatever. We're here for you. The man.
We're here
himself.
for you.
Wow.
That's him.
We are here for you.
Matt Riley is here for everyone.
I already got to spend a little morning time with Bob already.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's a good day when I get to start off my day with Matt Riley. Mr. Rinse and Repeat.
Bob was making sure I was doing my underwriting correct.
I was going to ask you. No, you were on a roll, so I didn't want to say anything at the time.
I felt like you were in there for something. I felt bad for not acknowledging. I knew you were in there.
No. It's funny. Someone DM'd me, and I went to add them as a friend, and then on the side it was different compared to normal. And then I saw you guys in there. I'm like, oh, what's this? So I clicked on it, and there I was. So that's how I joined. It wasn't like on purpose or anything.
Early in the morning. I get it.
Yeah.
You were on
yeah, exactly. So buttons. Matt was breaking down a deal with one of the members for. You want to break it up? Explain what it was.
Sure. It's a deal. Oh God, where is it? It's in.
That is, if it's okay with the guy who brought it to you, Adam.
I'm sure he will be. It's a deal in Philly, I believe. Supreme John and another individual had brought it to me. It's not Supreme's deal, but he was helping with the underwriting and outreach. And it was a potential sub-2 seller finance, one of the two, probably 2 weeks ago or so. So we jumped in. I listened to the phone call. Sounded okay. It's an individual. It's an owner who's renting it to his daughter, I think, which, again, for anybody that doesn't know, anything, if you're looking at any investment properties ever or any type of property where a family member is renting out the property, the subject property, please do your due diligence, because likely that family member is not paying any money. And I'm not saying that that's the case here. It might not be, but that is the daughter is renting it out, and it's very hard for family members to charge other family members. But the property looks good. They got pictures as of last night or this morning, and it's a property that's worth probably $200 to $215, and the guy's selling it for $106.
Nice.
And so we were using the financial calculator to run the numbers. It's a 3.5% interest rate, sub-2. So he's just waiting on the mortgage statement, but we're running all the numbers and the exit strategies. And I was telling him about lease options and wraps because right now she's paying $1,300, market rent to $1,700. $1,700 is 23% cash on cash return, which is great. But then I ran the lease option wrap numbers and doubles those numbers. It's almost like a 50% cash on cash at that point. So it's a property that's multiple exit strategies. When I get back in the game, when we close on this house, that is the type of property that I would be looking for to take down myself for sure.
Yeah.
Because you can put a long-term renter in there, or you can wrap it and make at least $500 a month.
So the reason I wanted to actually bring it up was you brought up a point in regards to what the future value of the property would be. And obviously it's a guess. Nobody knows. Nobody has a crystal ball or what have you. And you normally add, I think, 10 to 15%. Is that right?
Right.
Got it. Have you ever done it based on inflation?
I have, and I remember you talking about that before as well. And so yeah. And I it's hard for me to, like what we were just talking about yesterday with that individual that's possibly the sub 2 group that just no matter what always adds X amount of dollars to the. Right. I don't like doing that. I don't like always just adding 10. So it is very, very market dependent, of course, as well. And yeah, we have to take into consideration inflation as well in certain situations. So yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it both ways for sure. Because I don't like to just do a blanket 10 to 15 because that might not make sense. It might not be enough, or it might be too much. Who knows in that exact scenario. So, but that is the situation with lease options and wraps is. Yep. You are potentially giving up on some potential appreciation at that point, but maybe not.
Condition of the house also is a major factor to take into consideration as well. If it's in really bad condition, you may not want to add too much to it, because nobody's going to pick it up. But if it's in good condition or turnkey condition, you can add quite a bit to it.
I mean, I can't believe this guy is selling it for
$85,000
loan balance on a house that's worth. He showed me 2 comps last week or the week before that are literally in the same. They're the same house. They're in the same little block subdivision, and those sold for like $215 and $220. And we didn't have pictures before 2 weeks ago, and the guy sent pictures and it's in great shape. It's in nice hardwood floors, rent ready, nice painted walls. I mean, it's giving $100K in equity. Yeah, I think it's a pain thing. I don't think he lives there anymore. Or he's renting it to his daughter. He just kind of wants to be crazy though. So he has many different options in that sense. Like I said, if he wants to rent it, he's got a cash out refinance play in the future if he wants it. He's got a lot of options. I think he was like, what should I do in terms of underwriting it? And I was like, get it under contract. Yes. And then get the mortgage statement. And I go, do both of those 2 things hand in hand. I go, don't waste too much time on this. The numbers look very good right here. And I go, as long as his mortgage statement isn't wildly different than this, I was like, this thing needs to be under contract. And then you can always, if the mortgage statement is completely different than what you originally were, then you can either renegotiate or get out of the contract. But these numbers are fantastic, and you need to be doing this right now. That's so it's possibly $1,000 a month cash flow, 12 grand a year in a wrap or lease option.
How many of those do you need to survive?
Unbelievable.
to thrive, right?
That's why I think it's one of those things where, I'm never in anybody's pockets with failing or anything like that. But if you're not trying to take some of this wholesale money or whatever you're doing and reinvesting it into your business to generate more closings on a monthly basis, but also imagine if you just did one of those every couple months. Every 6 months you bought something that generated you $1,000 a month. Then you get a bad wholesale month, or you get 2 bad wholesale months in a row, and you already picked up $2,000 or $3,000 a month cash flow properties. And so now no matter what, you're bringing in $2,000 to $3,000 a month. How much safer are you going to feel in those positions? Your back is going to be farther and farther off the wall every time. So you're not making terrible decisions, and you're going to always be doing what's best for your business, because now you're like, all right, no matter what, I'm still bringing in this $3,000 a month. So I can pay my bills, I can eat, I can feed my family, I can do all those things, and I can make the best decision for my family and myself because I'm not like, oh my God, I'm making no money this month and next month, and I spent all the money already I made in the last couple of months. So I think if you're at least not considering, you're in real estate already. You're already looking at properties every day. You're talking to buyers. You know what their criteria. You know what good criteria is. You know what people are buying at. You know all of these things, and so maybe instead of sending it out to getting that quick check, cherry pick a few for yourselves at the same time.
Hey, good morning, guys.
We can turn it off right now. Sorry, Tardion. We're going to just shut it down. That was it.
You're totally good. You guys are actually talking about exactly what I came in when I asked about. But how are you guys doing today?
Great,
Perfect. I knew that. That's why I said that.
Perfect. You're the man I wanted to talk to, Matt. All of you guys, but all right, so me and my girlfriend, we got a prospect last night, cold calling a evictions list, and so we had a like pretty much the last call was this older lady, and her, she said she was 90. She had this property for 38 years. She hasn't seen it. She hasn't been in the property for the last 3 years, and the current tenant is going to be out by October 1st. And so, she already has plans to sell it. She said, she had a realtor, not, they're not under contract yet, but that was kind of her initial plan. But she sounded open to the idea of selling it with us, directly off market. And so we were actually looking at the numbers and thinking that this might actually be a really good seller finance, but kind of wanted to make sure we were looking at it the right way and structuring it correctly, because we have a decent understanding of sub 2, but on structuring the seller finance side, it's a little bit more of an unknown for us. And so just kind of want to talk through the numbers if that was okay with you guys.
Sure. Good. With looking at the eviction list. Are you familiar with that side of things on the eviction side?
Not in particular, no. Probably not to the extent that you're probably asking about.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great channel to look for properties for sure. It's just you're dealing with, it's like anything else. You're going to have headaches on the pre-foreclosure side. You're going to have headaches.
Right.
It's just you're dealing with somebody who has put their feet in the sand and said, I'm not moving. So as long as you understand like the intricacies of it and timelines and things like that, you're good. So
during the call, she didn't actually bring up the eviction, and I didn't bring it up either. She as the call went on towards the end, she kind of mentioned that the tenant wasn't a good tenant, and like she said, she was in her 90s, and so she was kind of tired of having to deal with tenants, so she was willing to move on. But anyways,
I love a tenant who doesn't hang their 90-year-old like their 90-year-old scumbag human being. Go on. Yeah.
So
I won't take up my own frustrations.
So she said that she wants 170. We're in Kansas City, Missouri, so it's a non-disclosure state. My girlfriend got her license, so we actually have MLS access, and so from the comps, we're actually seeing it's going to be a comp of, or we're comping it at 190, and so she's already asking just a tiny bit under, and she, like she said, she hasn't seen it in 3 years. One of the bathrooms was remodeled 8 years ago, and so she's expecting that it's going to be like carpet paint, a light remodel. And so we were looking at if she's asking 170, if we were to go at it cash, we'd probably be looking at like 90 to 100K would be our cash offer. And it didn't sound like she, we didn't actually propose it to her yet, but it probably wouldn't be something that she'd be interested in. And so we were thinking about proposing seller finance to her. At 170, like what would we actually be looking at as far as like, would we offer her 170 starting and then just try to she's currently renting it for 750. Market rent on Rent2Meter looks like it's gonna flow 1,300. Would we try to match her 750 that she's currently making on it, or would we like how do we go about structuring that? I guess it's more of an open-ended question. Like,
what do you know what the taxes are on that thing?
I looked at it last night. Let me pull it up.
Kansas City, so it's probably like $600.
It's kind of on the outskirts of Kansas City. When I looked at the property taxes for the last year, let's see. I mean, monthly taxes. I think I split it up to 125. So, yeah, it was like 1,500 in taxes.
Oh, okay. $750 for $170,000 property. which obviously you don't really have to worry about because that person's leaving, so that's good.
Right.
750 seems very, very low though for a $170,000 property.
Right.
1300 is better, but that's still. Is this in a nicer spot of KC?
Not a rough spot, but not like a nice spot. It's a decent area. It's like southeast Kansas City.
I mean, because I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now at $170,000 purchase price, 5% down, and I'm just going off like let's just say seller finance, right? So it's $170,000 purchase price, $1,500 in taxes, $100 a month in insurance, so $1,200 a year, 5% down payment, so $8,500 down. Let's just say a 3% interest rate. That gives a $680 a month principal and interest payment. At $1,300, that's a 15% cash on cash. That's probably the bare minimum of where I'd like to be in cash on cash.
Okay.
So I would say that's where I would top out at a $680 a month principal and interest payment to the seller. So
Okay.
I would try, just like any other negotiation, right? You never give your best offer first. Try to come in somewhere below that and make it as. But you also have to take into consideration too. That thing is probably not going to be paint and carpet or whatever.
Exactly.
So if you're saying 190 are ARV comps,
Yeah, comp's at 190. She's asking 170, and yeah,
190 is like rehabbed, ready to go.
Yeah, like top. Yeah.
I mean, I doubt it's going to cost you less than $20,000. So you're going to buy it for 170. But again, the beautiful part about seller finance is you have the ability to offer 170, even if you put 30,000 into it and you're over 190, then at that point, as long as your terms are preferable, then that's the benefit that you can offer more. So in the event that you're going to have to put more than 20 into it, I would probably put the least amount of money down as possible.
Right.
And let her know that that's going to be going into the rehab.
Okay. Yeah, and so that's yeah, we were looking at it as we're still deciding if depending on how the numbers work out, if it'd be something that we'd want to take down or if we would want to try to wholesale it. And we kind of have that expectation that it's definitely probably not going to be just carpet paint, considering she hasn't seen it in so long.
Yeah, I mean, because this is at 170, 5% down payment, $8,500. Like I said, $680 a month, 3% interest, and $2,000 in closing costs, which is just like standard closing costs. You're at 15% there. Now, if you have to dump in $20,000 into the rehab, obviously your cash on cash starts dwindling. Your property's worth 190. So you're basically putting in, if you're buying it for 170, putting in 20. And ARV is 190. You're just at where ARV should be. So you don't really have much equity at that point per se. But so I would just again play with these numbers, and you're gonna have to figure out how much that's gonna be in order to rehab. But I would estimate probably at least 20,000 for a rehab.
Okay. And so because I was thinking we'd probably, considering the fact that we don't know the full the status of the inside, would we try to get it under contract now, have the inspection period be like almost like through October to actually allow us to have time to the tenant to get out, us to come in, look at it, and then still have us within the time frame of renegotiating?
I doubt you're not going to be doing any walkthroughs in that process of time with the eviction.
Exactly, and she made it seem like she wanted to wait until afterwards.
My only problem, she's 90. How long are you going to be able to sell or finance this thing for?
Yeah.
Then at that point, in order to refinance and pay off that balloon at a 170 purchase price with an ARV of 190, and you still needing to put 20K plus into it. But if there's no balloon and it does have the ability to then transfer to her daughters or whoever else, then you're in a much better position. with the terms that I had in place, where now you can, again, maybe no down payment. She's got an eviction that's making no money right now. She's bringing in no, so even though it's renting for $750, she's not collecting $750. She hasn't been collecting $750 for probably 30, 60, 90 days, however long.
Okay.
So maybe doing delayed. There's so many different options to do. And again, it's just all speaking in generalities. That's why seller finance is great, right? Like, how long is it going to take you to do your rehab? So maybe you put some money down and then you don't make your first payment to her for the first 6 to 12 months to allow yourself to do the rehab, to go market it to a tenant, to go get a tenant in there, start cash flowing. And now you make your monthly payments to her, or you make a no down payments to her because all that money is going to go to the rehab. And then you make payments on day one. So it just really depends on the situation, but there's so many different ways to do it with that. And again, making sure there's no balloon. If there's even remotely a hint of a balloon, or her saying, hey, I'm 90 and I don't want to hold this I'm willing to do it, but I don't want to hold it forever, 170 is not going to work. But if there's a chance that it can be set up to where it passes along to somebody else, then 170 is something that again, just going off of what you're saying, would be something you'd be able to do as long as the terms are appropriate. But I would say 680 from what I'm seeing is the highest that you're going to want to pay a month for principal and interest. So I would start well below that and see what you can get done. Don't mention an interest rate. Just mention monthly payment because you can always make your interest rate whatever. So, hey, what about $500 a month? Most sellers don't know what that means. So if they say, oh, what's the interest rate on that? What's this? What's that? Then you can mess with the numbers to make it reflect. But if she's like, okay, I'll take $500 a month. All right, well, there's probably a way that we can make that 0% interest and just pay her $500 a month. So again, there's multiple ways to do it. So delayed monthly payment, no down payment, because all of that's going to go towards your rehab costs. There's probably 3 different ways to do it at least.
Gotcha. Okay, and so if the numbers do end up working out that we're able to take it down, I mean, we're trying to wholesale, we're wholesaling, but we haven't even gotten our first deal yet. So we don't even have experience in the rental space. Would it be, could this be a potential wrap for us to then like not have to be landlords, but still get, the passive income off of it?
Yeah. I mean, you can absolutely wrap a seller finance note. So again, that's why it's important to get the best terms possible, right? Like a seller finance note is the same as a sub 2 on paper, right? Like a sub 2 is terms, right? There's a mortgage in place, there's terms in place, there's a loan balance, there's an interest rate, there's a monthly payment. Seller finance is the same thing, except the seller is just the bank. So what are those terms that you can then wrap new terms around to somebody else? So it's the best possible terms you can get on this, the higher likelihood that you can wrap it to somebody else, whether it's an owner occupant or to another investor, whoever, and then you're just collecting the middle, the interest, the monthly payment, and the equity on top of it. Because that's my preferred strategy right now moving forward is going to be wraps and lease options, because I don't want to deal with a $1,300 a month tenant. I don't want to deal with an $800 a month tenant. I don't want to deal with that nonsense anymore for the foreseeable future. I'd rather collect the same amount of cash flow, if not more, and not have any of those phone calls, any of that nonsense, any of that, and still have equity locked in that I'll be getting a lump sum payment in the future. And I have guaranteed consistent income on a monthly basis. I have income that I know it's $500 last month, it's going to be $500 this month, it's going to be $500 next month. With rental properties, even though it's $1,300 a month, maybe this month you collect after expenses $600, and then next month there's a bunch of expenses, and you actually had to write a check for $500 and you didn't make anything. So it's not guaranteed by any means on the rental side.
Okay. Hey Matt, have you heard of a company called PadSplit?
PadSplit, yeah. There was somebody, I can't remember who was talking about it. I'll let you know when I remember who it was. Just saying. Yeah, I was actually on PadSplit yesterday when we were talking, and on their website they list all the markets that they're in for the most part, and so they're in most major markets for sure.
Major markets, yeah, and they're growing too. So,
how long would you say they've been around for? Two couple years?
No, it's more. They had a Zoom meeting with Sub 2 community, and I think they were saying like 6 or 7 years, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. But they're more than willing to grow in any. They're willing to go into any market So long as it's not like a onesie twosie. If you go to them and go, hey, I've got 5 or 10 properties, they'll jump into that market, and they'll start working.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll work with you.
I mean, I definitely, yeah. And again, that's the beautiful part about where we're going with like technology and these websites and apps and softwares is however many years ago, I was thinking about it this morning when I was getting ready, and think about like when you started in real estate and even when I started in real estate, like there was only 2 options that you like, it was just like long-term rent or, maybe corporate rent, maybe, but there was no like Airbnb and pad split and
right.
this and that. Like as this continues to grow, there will be so many more exit strategies for properties.
Yeah.
So
that's how industries grow and evolve. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
if you're done, Tardion, RELCell has been waiting. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sorry. What last one? So on the paperwork side, so I've heard that you on the seller would have basically like a promissory note. How would all of that be created? Is it simply like is it a regular 2-page purchase and sale agreement that we'd use for wholesaling, and then we like just write in the terms within the blank term section, and then the title company would take over actually creating all those documents? Or do we need to do something separate to make sure we're able to then potentially wrap it or rent it or do all that good stuff?
It depends if your title company will write those documents up. There's a 50-50 chance. So what I do is like on the additional terms of my purchase and sale agreement contract, I write in what the terms are of our, so purchase price of this, monthly payment of this, interest rate of this, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that way, at least the title company has it. And then I usually get my attorney to draft up the mortgage and the note. And inside those 2 documents has all of the terms that we have listed in there. So maturity date, interest rate, monthly payment, all of those things.
Okay.
There's an easier way than that too, if you want, Tardion. What is your name, Tardion?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. Okay.
Yeah.
John, we need to make this a rule. They got to change their moniker to their full name.
Can I do that?
You can make it Mr. Sebastian. I don't care. You can put rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I don't care. But you got to put your name on. So, Sebastian, the easier way, honestly, which is how we do it, is you just get a TC that knows this stuff. Mm-hmm. Give them the information. They'll write up all the contracts for you. Costs a little bit of money, but oh my God, they're worth their weight in gold times 10 for me.
Awesome.
Especially if you find someone that's good. Not like the one Matt was dealing with, but the ones that are good.
There are some good ones out there. I can't say there's definitely some good ones out there.
I'll be honest with you. That guy has an incredible reputation in sub 2. So
I saw him post
I'm so surprised. Yeah.
I saw him post on his own page that he got like the certificate, whatever the gold standard, whatever it is of TC. Yeah. And he had like 50
I can't believe it.
People comment on it and they're like, and I was like, okay. I mean, I don't know. I've had 2.
I think he didn't know who he was dealing with. If he was dealing with a sub 2 student, maybe he would back off, but he didn't know he was dealing with Mr. Rinse and Repeat.
Well, it's funny because he told Dan that he wasn't going to do business with Apex anymore, and that like if this is a representation of Apex, I don't want to do business with you guys. And then after closing, he emailed Dan and was like, "Hey, and if you guys got any other properties that would love to do business with you," and I was like, "This guy is bipolar," but it just is. But yeah, TCs are great, especially in the beginning. I absolutely recommend TCs as well because you don't know the contracts, you don't know anything. And then I also recommend them when you get super busy too, because it's like I handle everything. And it's and especially in those situations where like a title company might all of a sudden out of nowhere in the middle of a contract be like, "Hey, we need a note for this," and you're like, "Oh shit!" And then you don't know an attorney in the area, you don't know anything. Mm-hmm. And so having that TC from the beginning, they'll handle all of that. They'll prepare it all. They'll have everything, done
especially, for you. Especially if you're doing creative.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many things going on with creative compared to wholesaling that you may miss them. I miss them.
Right.
I'm sure Matt's missed a couple points here and there. So, but they're on it. And if you guys are doing like at least 2 or 3 a month, I can recommend a phenomenal TC company out there that's nationwide. They actually know investor-friendly title companies that they will work with, and they can
That's the
get
big
your
thing.
stuff down.
That's the big
It's
thing too.
huge.
They
It
have a
is
network
huge.
that
Yeah.
they tap into. So no matter where you're doing deals at.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to bring him on, man.
Yeah.
I met him in San Antonio.
That guy's a stud.
He's a
That
stud,
guy, I
man.
like that
He's a
guy.
stud. I like that guy too.
Olgi, Dave Olgi, I think is his name, or something like that.
David
Easy REI closings.
Yeah,
Old. REI Closing.
That's the guy.
I was
Easy
just-
REI Closings.
I swear to God, I was watching his videos last night at like 11 o'clock on my couch last night, and I was like going through his. Somebody tagged him in something. I forget. I was on. Somebody tagged him as a TC, and they're like, "He's great." And then like a couple, and I was like,
He
"Who's
is
this
great.
guy?" And I clicked it, and he's the Easy REI closing guy. And I was watching
Yep.
all of his videos, and I was
Yep.
on the website and stuff. And so yeah, that's
And if you're doing 2 or 3, it's basically going to cost you nothing. Okay, I'm telling you, this company is great.
yeah. And
Awesome.
like you said,
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
when you're
All
doing
right.
deals all over the market, all over the country, you don't have you don't have attorneys all over the place. You don't have title companies, so they already have all of that built in, and they know where to go. Makes your life that much.
Yep. All right, Railcell, you've been waiting patiently. Thank you for your patience. What you got going, my friend?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so my real name is Tyrell.
Tyrell. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet y'all too. So I've been in wholesale for like, let's say like 7 months. I've been like on and off, but I have a property that's ready to close,
Okay.
and I have trouble doing numbers. Like for me, like I have trouble doing the numbers.
Okay.
And I kind of needed y'all help on it.
Okay.
So
What you got?
So can y'all look at the property? If y'all can like search up the property and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a property. It's 31 Lord Street.
Hang on. 31 what?
Lord Street.
Lord?
Yeah, LORD.
Okay.
Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
14210.
All right. I got it.
Okay, so that house was originally going for 124K. But I talked him down to get it to 95K.
Okay. Do you have buyers for it already?
Yeah, like I actually have a cash buyer that texted me last night saying that 95 is his best offer.
So you're going to make nothing.
Basically.
Okay. So
like,
you either need to renegotiate or find a better buyer.
okay.
Is that right?
Yeah. So that's why I'm just confused on. It's like he said 95K all in. And
95K all in.
You're the one that dropped that screenshot of that text, right, in the chat.
yes, yeah.
I saw that earlier. Gotta find it.
In today's chat here on the side chat or in the chat?
I think it was in the main chat. I thought
Main
I saw
chat.
it. Can you
so we can see it again?
Yeah, can you just drop it in the? I got it here.
Dang, 6-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,100 square feet almost. Fizbo. Where's AB? He can.
He's been in
Chime
the meetings,
in.
man. I think he's a little shy today. What's going on, Angelo?
We got a little
He's ready
shy,
for a fight.
we got a little shy guy.
Nah, I'm here. I'm just a little bit under the weather.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Forgot about that.
I'm over here sniffling on my my Vicks.
Are you sick or are you sad because of that seller finance deal?
Most likely sad. It
Sick tears or
email
sad
this morning.
tears?
both. Nah, I'm just congested. I need this thing to go away.
You can't be
But
resting both
Fizbo,
sellers voice.
what's the address on it? I wonder if I've seen it or not.
31 Lord Street, Buffalo.
New York?
Yep. Here, I'll put it
I
in
probably
here.
passed it, to be honest. 30 days.
Yep, 30 days.
I've never seen it. What's the problem? It's at 95. You just can't get it lower.
So he has it under contract at 95. His buyer says all in, he's willing to pay 95. So he's looking to see what he can do about it.
Oh, that's the power of the price drop. All you really need is 90.
Well, at 90, wouldn't the buyer have to also pay closing costs and everything else too?
I would ideally say that, yeah.
Okay. So how can Tyrell bring it down from 95 to 90? What would you do to bring it down?
Depends on what you have in your agreement already. Are you already covering the closing costs?
Oh no.
No? Okay, great.
Boom.
Okay.
So, did your buyer already walk it?
Can you repeat that again, sir?
Did your buyer already walk the property? I'm assuming, since he already said he needs to be at 95.
He hasn't really like looked at it. Like I sent him pictures of it, like more like recent pictures of it, but other than that,
So he's never walked it.
nah.
So he might back off even at 95.
Potentially.
Do you have other buyers?
I have other potential ones, but those are for like other.
Hold on. I just want to confirm as well. When he said 95K would be a max all in, now you have to subtract the rehab cost, closing, and holding costs. Is this guy saying like his purchase price would have to be like around 45 or 50 or whatever that number is? Or is he saying he'll purchase the property for 95 and then do the rehab and everything on top of that? Because you either locked it up for 5K too high or $45,000 too high.
He said he's gonna lock it in at 95K.
That's what I was thinking too, but then I wouldn't think he'll say.
Yeah.
I think he's all in at 95K, meaning that's what he's gonna pay for it. Just because like it doesn't make sense on why he would respond back like that.
That second part, now you have to subtract the rehab cost, closing, and holding, unless he thinks it's going to be, yeah. So as long as it's worth, what's the ARV on it after it's fixed up?
That's the thing I'm having trouble on.
I'm assuming it has to be like 140, 130-ish.
Yeah, like
if you're picking it up at 95, you're putting 30K into it.
I'm not going off prop stream. Prop stream saying 90K.
Yeah. And Privy doesn't have any comps for it either. So it's not necessarily a great place where there's a lot of activity. $86. Here's a 6-dude, 2064 square feet, just sold June 21st for $86K. See, it's pictures here.
What were you offering it to him for, to your buyer?
It was originally 124K.
Yeah, this is probably gonna go for like 150-ish, I assume. Or 160.
I mean, this one isn't that bad, and it's sold for 86.
I would either try to negotiate your buyer to get him at 100. You started at 124. If he'll do 100, and if that doesn't work, then you're gonna have to negotiate your seller down 5K down to 90. Either way, you're gonna have to get a price reduction. Which one are you more likely to get
Go back to your seller and just say, "Hey, I had my guy put eyes on it. Are we able to do 90K?"
Yeah.
Or you could come down a little bit cheaper and say, "Would you be able to do 85, 87 with all closing costs covered?"
Yeah.
Just make sure that that buyer's willing to perform at 95 too. I mean, no matter what, if you can get a price reduction, even better. No matter what as long as it's not going to ruin anything with your seller, it's only going to make your spread better.
Tyrell, I don't know how. You said you've been in it for 7 months, so I don't know how knowledgeable you are about creative, but this is free and clear. This guy is an investor. He's owning 11 properties right now. So what if you give him 95, but with whatchamacallit, terms? It's a duplex.
That's what props. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that too.
So 231s. Have you walked the property yourself, Tyrell?
Yeah, I had I actually went 2 days ago.
Okay. Is it a true duplex?
Yes.
Okay. 231s, right?
Yep.
See if you can get it for terms, because then you can probably cash
There's
flow
some-
pretty decent.
There's some new constructions right around the corner.
And the house, the thing about 31 Lower Street is like, it's, how do I say it? It's like, it's not a lot of work to be done. Like a whole
The house?
Yeah. Like it's a updated bathroom.
Did you get any pictures?
I mean, that kitchen isn't exactly
Oh yeah,
2023 standards.
Yeah, that. But I'm just saying, but like for me, like the repair value for that would be like for the whole house would be around 45,000.
Do you have construction background?
No.
So how are you coming up with that figure?
I've been talking to the owner of the property, so and that's what he told me. It's around 45.
So there's a famous saying, especially amongst some sub 2 students, that says buyers are liars. That's us. We lie. Sellers are worse.
I was gonna say he barely has an incentive to make the estimated rehab not seem as much as it possibly is.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking almost 2,100 square feet.
Right.
2068. 45K? That's awful low. To me, it sounds like it's awful low. Okay, yeah, the bathrooms are nice. Okay, but the kitchens aren't. Maybe he's done some flooring. Looks like. I mean, you still need some work.
It just
He's
looks
painted a little bit. Yeah, it's unfinished.
Gray paint on the wall, and it makes
Yeah.
it look more finished than it probably than it is.
Yeah. It looks like it's an unfinished job, quite honestly. I mean, look at this. He's probably taken down the chandelier. He's doing some HVAC work, duct work, He's painted probably, but he hasn't finished anything. So it's an unfinished job.
I was looking
Right.
for to a 2-year loan, 8% interest. And
I'd go back to him and say, hey, after going through my numbers, I can probably do 86, 85, and we'll pay for all closing costs. Or would you be open to terms? Okay, selling it on seller financing.
This is vacant right now, right?
And I can give you the 95 at that price. Or even maybe a little higher. Because what are rents over there? Rent estimate 1451. Is that for one side? So a 3-1 can go for 1400? If
Yes.
that's the case, then you can rent that place for 2900 because it's 2, right?
Yes.
So a lot of different ways that you can skin it that way. I might even incentivize him and tell him, look, I'll pay you 100K if we go terms, seller financing.
Okay.
And then get together with someone like Matt or me or someone like us, John, okay? And we'll break it down for you as far as the terms, what works, what doesn't. Terms, Paradise, I think that's your name. Terms is basically creative financing, okay? So we are buying the property at your price, but with our terms, meaning like either seller financing, we buy the property subject to taking over the loan if there's a mortgage on it, a hybrid, which is a combination of both. So different ways.
Right. And also like the seller wants like a $5,000 earnest.
Okay. Well, that falls on your buyer. Okay. If your buyer is serious at 95 and you can get it at 87 or 90, then you have him put it up.
Okay.
But 5,000 is a little high. I mean, normally it's 1 to 3%. Even at 100K, that's $1,000 to $3,000. Why does he want 5,000?
Honestly, don't know that. To be honest.
So that could be a negotiation point.
He wants your money.
Yeah. Yeah. He thinks you're going to back out after you find out that it's not a deal. So he wants your money, like John said. So I'd go, okay, I'll give you 5 down, but I need terms.
Yeah, that's
It's a negotiation point. You want 5,000? Okay. Give it to me. Give it to me for 80,000. I'll give you 5,000 down.
I'm much more willing to take a risk with terms than I am on
Exactly.
any other type of scenario.
Exactly.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm writing all this down. So
Take a screenshot of what Matt just put up right now from his calculator.
Oh, that was for AB,
Never mind. Don't take that picture.
but I can definitely run numbers for it.
Squad up with either Bob or Matt on this deal and have them speak to the seller if they're open to working with you on the deal and get it done.
okay. 'Cause right now, like, as you speak, like, I am in the process of doing the contract. So should I just tell him, like, basically, either you can do terms or drop the price down?
Yep.
basically? Okay.
Exactly. Just go back to him and say, hey, I ran through the numbers with my partner and 95 won't work for us right now. Would you be open to around 85 or so, and we'll pay for closing costs, your side and ours? And if he says no, you always want to go for the cash offer first. And if he says no, go, okay. The other way that we can do this to make it work for both of us would be if we bought it on terms. Are you open to selling this on seller financing? And I'm willing to pay you 95.
Okay.
See what he says.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and sound confident too,
exactly.
as SMB Capital said. Do you have
Take-
a phone? You have a phone voice where you get pumped up and you get confident on the phone?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Terrell, do you drink coffee?
No, I don't drink coffee either.
Start. Start this bad habit, or go with Celsius like Matt does.
Yeah, get a Celsius in you. You'll be talking different.
I'll
I
try.
gotta try one of these, man. I gotta try one of these.
Yeah, I haven't tried it either. I got to try it too.
It's an injection in a can.
What's the sugar level on that thing?
0.
That's the first thing I always look at. So,
Zero
Terrell,
sugar.
does that answer? 0? Ah, bullshit.
Zero.
Aspartame.
Alcohol. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What kind of alcohol sugar does it have? Sugar alcohol. Sorry, Terrell. Does that answer your questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank
Cool.
Terrell.
You got it, brother.
All right. Thank you. I
Good luck,
appreciate
brother.
it. Yep.
Yep. Come in here anytime you got questions.
Gotcha.
Mike! I drink half and I'm wired. I don't know the. Which one? Celsius, Mike?
Telling
Yeah.
you, it's something. It was completely unexpected. I'd always seen it like on podcasts. And I thought it was just like a regular just drink. Like I didn't even know it was an energy drink. And we bought a couple from the store. I drank it and I was like, "What is happening to me?" I was like, "That can't be from that, right?" Like I thought I did something else that I didn't realize, and then I realized it was that. And now here we are. Terrible habit.
He loves it though. He loves that terrible habit.
That's why I
Right?
keep coming back. I keep coming back. It's a gateway drug. Bob AB's trying to lock up his first seller finance deal.
Ooh, first. I thought he's done some. Oh, he's done sub twos and stuff.
For himself. I think
Oh, okay.
he wants to take this down, but the guy wants a 2-year balloon.
2 years. Pass.
That's what I'm like.
I wouldn't even bother. Pace has a saying. He goes, "Balloons are for clowns. I don't do balloons."
I've had to use that a few times in
Yeah.
emails to agents and things like that. But yeah, I just showed him the 10B2 calculator. After 2 years, he pays down $869 in principal balance and pays $8,800 in interest. His starting balance, he has to put $10,000 down. His starting loan balance is $50,000. At the end of 2 years, he'll owe $49,130.
So you might as well just call it interest only.
Yeah, and it's just like 2 years. I get the idea, but it's like, this is what I'm saying. This is why seller finance is fantastic, but you can get yourself into some dangerous waters.
Heap of trouble. Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing.
You can just get taken advantage of. Imagine, like, not saying this is a bad deal. Maybe $60,000, like it's a $60,000 purchase. Maybe it's a great deal. Maybe it's worth.
Yeah, the only thing it's got going for it is that it's sub 100 price range.
Yeah,
really.
But it's just
your risk is kind of low.
Get taken advantage of where, a seller, and you don't know what you're doing, and you agree to a 2-year balloon, and then all of a sudden it's due in 2 years and you owe $50,000 and you're like, how do I pay this? I don't know how to, I can't refinance, I can't do nothing. And the guy's like, sorry, and then takes his property back, and now you're screwed. And
try this, AB. Accept the 2-year, but with an option. Yeah, with an option of 5 years if the property does not appraise for $60,000 in 2 years from now. So that'll give you, an additional 5 years.
Yeah, because it needs, in order to have 20% equity, you're going to have to be at least $60,000. But yeah, I mean, the numbers shake out. 8% interest, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Ooh, that's high.
Yeah, the numbers still shake out, though, to a 36% cash on cash.
Dang, okay.
My thing is on a short balloon like that, I would try to make it so my cash on cash, like where my entire entry fee is back by the time that the balloon is due. So if it's a 2-year balloon, I would love a 50% cash on cash. So that way, like that's a home run, of course, right? Because at the end of year 2, I've made all my money back.
Yeah.
Now, whatever happens from there. But your 36 is still good, though. Yeah, it's $60,000 property that rents for $1,095 to $1,100 a month.
That's not bad. Not bad at all.
So that's the only time I can ever justify an 8%.
Thank you for the boost, Mike.
Drinking a C4 is borderline doing drugs. Oh my God. Costco had them for samples, and I tried just one little shot, and I was just wired for the rest of that day. It really is like doing drugs.
You couldn't drive home.
Move! Get out of my way! Yeah.
Just erratic driving on the way home. Getting pulled over. What are balloons and how do they work? Balloons are just
things that you put helium in and you put it up.
That's pretty much the only thing I want people to know about balloons, because I was talking about that guy yesterday. He puts balloons on everything and it ruins all of these deals I'm trying to get done because there's all these balloons on there and it just makes no sense. But
yeah,
again,
I don't mind balloons so long as they're long term and the numbers shake out. Yeah, fine. You want to put a balloon, great. But obviously the best choice is having no balloons.
Or like you said, having language in there that allows an automatic extension of that balloon.
Yeah.
It doesn't appraise out at a certain value.
Yeah, you don't want to get involved with anything less than 5 years. Minimum 5 years.
Just two, that shot clock is.
Taylor Larson. What's up, Taylor?
Hey, how's it going, Taylor?
What's up, guys? It's been a minute since I got on stage. I had a property that I'm not sure how to evaluate because it's right next to a commercial building that hasn't been decided what it's going to be used for yet. It's and I mean it's like right next to it. So its ARV is about 140, and it needs minimal work, some cosmetic stuff, and he wants to sell it to me for 65, and I'm already in contact with someone who wants to rent it for $1,200 as a daycare because it's zoned for both commercial and residential. His wife runs a daycare. Nothing is official with that yet, of course, but how do I figure out the ARV for something that's right next to commercial like that? I'm sure that affects it, right?
I thought you said the ARV is 140. How did you come up with that then?
Well, the ARV would be 140 normally, but because it's next to a commercial building, I'm not sure how much that changes it.
It does change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like how do I figure that in?
Well, basically you want to find other properties that are close, residential properties that are close to commercial, and see, what their ARV is and compare it to them. You always want to compare apples to apples.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So that's what I would do.
Is this an area where commercial is common, or
Gotta be.
kind of like an outlet?
Older neighborhood?
It's got a couple of commercial areas around it, couple of commercial buildings around it, and it's.
I mean, if commercial is a commonplace in the area, then it's probably not going to be won't be terrible. But like Bob said, you're going to have to find other ones that are, in similar radius of commercial as that one.
Does it add any value when it's also zoned for commercial itself?
Sure. If it's zoned for commercial as well?
Yeah, it's zoned for residential. And
for
commercial.
Developers, yeah. I mean, you can talk to developers and see what they would be willing to do with it, because they're going to come up with the best use of that property, right?
Okay.
Maybe they'll knock it down and put up an office building or a warehouse or whatever, strip mall, something like that, or multifamily.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have multiple zoning possibilities than just be limited to one, because then obviously, it's just like anything else, exit strategy. So it's likely not to hurt it to have multiple zoning abilities. Okay. It's just, again, as long as it makes sense, of course, to do commercial or residential, whatever the best use of that property is, whatever the highest and best use of that property is, whether it's residential or commercial.
So you think it's probably worth exploring, looking into or talking with some developers rather than just try to do it as a normal wholesale to.
Is this off market or on market?
Off market.
Okay. And how motivated is the seller?
He seems pretty motivated. He's running a campaign and he doesn't have time for pretty much anything. So he needs the convenience of just having it be unloaded. He's willing to do seller finance too.
Okay, then that's the route I'd go. I mean, if he's willing to do seller finance and you've got somebody who's willing to rent it for $1,200, I want to see if I can get that seller financing to a point where the down payment is going to be low enough and the monthly payments are going to be. I mean, if you can rent it for $1,200, I'd want probably around $300-400 to be able to give
a month
to the seller.
Okay.
So that way, that'll leave you at least a good, probably around 400-ish a month.
Yeah, originally he wanted 900 a month.
Well, 900 will kill the deal. If you can rent it for only 1,200, right?
He knows
set aside 20%. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the method that Matt and I use. We just break it down by numbers and just show it to them, especially if the guy is analytical, he'll completely fall for it and understand exactly what you're talking about. Okay. If they're emotional, if they're aggro drivers, okay, then you might want to try other methods. But if again, this comes from building that rapport, learning about them, finding out their personality and all that stuff. Okay. So once you do that and you know what kind of personality they are, then you can adjust your presentation to them and how to pitch them, whether it's seller financing or wholesaling.
Yeah, a lot of people usually are scared of the analytical type seller, but
I love them.
That's what I'm saying. Because then I can show you the numbers, and now you understand what I'm even referring to in terms why my offer is where it's at, what it means. When I'm putting the numbers where they are, you understand. And now I've had it plenty of times where the seller starts off defensive and they're like, no. And then once I show them, they're like, I understand now. And now we're in a much better position to go back and forth and move things around. And I've had sellers even be like, okay, that makes sense. What if we moved it from a 30-year to a 35-year? And then I'll show them. I'm like, here's what that looks like now. And they're like, okay, that makes sense. All right, what if we did? Now they're playing the game with me. Yep. And we're both trying to get to that middle ground that makes sense to both of us. Where in the beginning, you're just throwing numbers out and it's like a defense thing. They're like, you're probably lying to me. Your numbers are just to make, your side look good and not me. Yeah, I love a good analytical seller.
I got to tell you a little story. A few days ago, So we have a gentleman, Andrew Townsend, in here. He sometimes pops in here, and he started working with me, and he's pretty active. I like him. And so he's going around and finding deals and stuff like that. And he brought this lady to me, and we broke it down. We analyzed it. I've never talked to the seller. I don't know who she is or anything like that. So I gave him the numbers that would work for us as a wholesale price. And I said, obviously, it's zero. It's free and clear. So I said, obviously, we can do seller financing at her price. And he went and talked to her, and he came back and he said, she wants to talk to you. I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's get on the phone. So I got on the phone, and she's like, I just wanted to hear it from your mouth, the price that you gave me. So she's asking for 85. We gave her 40, okay, or 45, somewhere around there. And I said, well, based on the numbers, this is how, and I broke it down for her. And I told her, yeah, I mean, the most we can offer, honestly, is at 45,000 cash. However, we can do higher if you're willing to do seller financing. We can get to your 85 with seller financing. And she just went off on me. She's like, you think I'm an idiot. You must think that just because I'm black and I don't know anything, you're trying to take advantage of us black people. And she turned it completely into race. I'm like, lady, I've never even seen you. I don't know what you look like. I've never talked to you. Yeah, exactly. And she just went off, vented, and hung up on me.
You should have said you're black too.
Yeah, right. And then so I was mad at her, but at the same time, I knew what she was doing. So I sent the recording, because I record all my calls, to Andrew, and I had him listen to it because I knew she was going to call him back and pour some poison into him. And so I sent him the recording, and he listened to it, and he's like, she thinks you're racist? I don't understand. I'm like, neither do I, but you know. And then he, being smart, went back to her and started talking to her again, and now we're back on track with her with seller financing.
See, and that's
it's crazy.
And that's why I'm not best on the phone sometimes, because that situation would just like viral me up to a point where I'm like,
right.
And you need somebody like an Andrew or somebody like that to look at it from a different angle, to take that more slower approach sometimes, and to come from like an understanding, and to get it back on track. Because some people they get offended off of something like that. Something as simple as that can be offensive to them, and they don't understand seller finance. So not only did you offer me half of what I think I should get, now you're offering me seller finance. I don't know what that is, and you're probably only offering it to me because of who I am or what.
Because I'm black.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Having somebody that can get it back on track, like, no, here's what seller financing is, and here's why it might be best, So yeah, it's just those conversations.
That was fun.
Oh, stop it, man!
Should have made
you would have handled it just fine. Remember that couple that were on here that were partnering up, had what, 10,000 buyers? You were by far the most patient with them.
It's just I almost felt bad, I guess. I don't know what that are they. Yeah, we're not going to bring them up. Actually, I don't want to get that ball rolling again.
I didn't say names. names.
Yep. I was going to start, but I'll stop.
All right, I'll look for some apples to apples with that. Thanks, guys.
You got it.
Yeah, I would either just wholesale it or do a little research into developers and see what the highest and best use for the property and highest best use of your time, in terms of if you're going to make an assignment on this thing, what is the highest and best use of your time to get the best assignment possible, but not spend the next 6 months trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
SMB Capital has an address for us. I can't even pull it up. Is that the correct address, SMB?
That's been happening to me on PropStream for the last 2 days.
There we go. It came up on Zillow. Interesting. I wonder why it didn't come up on
I got it here on
PropStream.
$8,300 link for
it's the way it's written. So who was it? It was, I think, Kyle that was we were talking about PropWire and PropStream. So I just went to Zillow, Kyle, and I typed in the address, and then I copy pasted it into PropStream, and it comes up. And that particular property, SMB, PropStream has its value at $986. I haven't looked at the comps or anything, but just based off of that. So they're 2.5. They must be looking at, are there new built
This little
close to it?
house right here.
Yeah.
This little ranch single. Is that like 2.5 in terms of like if you were to tear it down?
Yeah, I mean, it's 13,280 square feet lot. So maybe they're thinking you bring it down, put 2 properties back up.
Double lot. I got max level.
But, I mean, 1, you need zoning. 2, you need a developer to go and put that. And 3, no developer is going to pay $2.5 million unless if they can, when they put it back up, they can sell it for around 18 to 25 million.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a
Good luck.
large chunk of change.
Yeah. So you got to find out why they're asking $2.5 million. What is the reason? Okay. And show them comps.
Yeah, Matthew Storfer.
Home is a buy and hold, so no rehab. Yeah,
I mean,
still
it's gotta be
2.5.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be something. You can't just. It's not worth it in its current. I mean, as far as I can tell. I mean, I'll go on Zillow and check.
All right, Sebastian. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. What you got
Awesome.
going, buddy?
So I had more of a general question. I've been doing deals here in my local market, and I've been thinking of going virtual or expanding to other nearby markets that are a little bit bigger. My local market's population is about 300,000, so it's not tiny, but it's not, something.
No, that's a great
bigger.
size.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it's a good size. But I've been thinking, I think I'm at a point where I need to change something. You know, I've been listening to a lot of what Dan Fazio's webinars and things like that, and I've been tracking more of the KPIs in my business and really building out what my avatar looks like. And I've been considering. So at this point, I have kind of 2 directions I can go towards, which is I can either keep doing marketing here in my local market, but it won't be as concentrated as to what my ideal avatar would be. So what I've found is out of all the deals that I've done, pretty much all of them have been absentee or vacant. Right? Those I feel are what typically what a deal would look like in my area, or at least what's fallen into my lap so far. But I guess my question would be, how do you guys go about expanding to other markets? I guess my biggest concern would be boots on the ground, or somebody that would need to be there physically in case of either meeting the seller in person, or if I need pictures taken or anything like that. So I guess what are your guys' thoughts on this, and how do you guys go about working virtually?
Well, before you go virtually, let me ask you this, Sebastian.
Sure.
How big is your cash buyers list right now in your local market?
It is. I have a decent amount of cash buyers. I would say just because it's local, I've typically I'll just take down the deals myself. Right. So I'll usually, because I've got relationship with contractors here, and
Okay.
So I'll typically take them down as fix and flips, or sometimes I'll look at it as a rental, but oftentimes it doesn't pencil out just because of the insurance and the property taxes here. It often kills the cash flow here. So so typically my goal is to take down the deals that I find here locally, but if I were to do it virtually, I would definitely lean towards wholesaling, just due to not having those contractor relationships. But
what type of tools do you have right now access to?
As I have Batch Dialer, I have REI Reply, I have Batch Lead. So I'm really just doing outbound SMS and cold call. That's my.
Okay, so those are great as far as reaching out to people.
Right.
But what about as far as data is concerned? You said batch leads. Do you have like Privy or PropStream as well?
I have batch leads, so I guess
Batch
it's
leads.
like a version of PropStream. Yeah.
Yeah, it
and I
is.
also have
It is.
MLS access here. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me share my screen real quickly. So here is Privy, okay? And if you click on coverage, I don't know what market you're in, okay, but pick a market that you were thinking of.
I was thinking of San Antonio.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you go to San Antonio.
I don't think I see your screen. Am I the only one?
Nope, you're right. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
Huh,
That's why I
I wonder-
refreshed. I thought I was the only one, so I refreshed my screen because I thought.
No, that's strange. There we go.
There we go.
Awesome.
So let me start all over. So this is Privy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Come on. Let's go searches. I want to refresh this. Hang on. So you go to Privy coverage. Okay, so this is the nation. Then you want San Antonio. So you go to San Antonio. Okay.
Mhm.
And so a lot of activities around here, it looks like. Let's go to fix and flips because that's probably going to be your main buyers. You're going to wholesale in San Antonio or you're going to...
Yeah, wholesale. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so right here, a lot more activity down here compared to like northern San Antonio, as you can see.
Mhm.
Okay. You just go further and further down. Okay, so like at the heart of San Antonio is a lot of activity. Okay. So right here, then you can draw like this area. It looks like pretty good. So I would go around like this. Okay.
Mhm.
And now it's going to pop up with all the latest sales. Okay, right here. Then you can go and find out which zip codes, okay, based on this. Or you can actually click on each one of these properties and see which ones were rehabbed by an investor. And you can tell, right?
Right.
Like, for example, this one was just sold this month, August 11th. So literally 5 days ago. And here we go. Pretty decent. Right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so then you can scroll down to public records. And it was just sold. Okay. Let me see. So they bought it for $215, sold it for $325 at a 66% ARV. Okay.
Mhm.
So this also gives you an idea of what cash buyers are buying for in those markets. Okay. And then obviously it's not just one, you go through several and get an average. So you have an idea of what prices you need to be at. Okay. And then you can find out who the owners are, reach out to them, find out what their buy box is. Okay. And now you know what types of properties to go after. Okay. As far as boots on the ground, you're in a community with over what, 12,000 members now, John?
Right.
Over 12,000.
So
Incredible, man. That's-
you got people in San Antonio, I promise you, in here,
Yeah.
who'd be more than happy to work with you. Okay, they can be your boots on the ground there. You can reach out to local agents there to work with you. You can even get Dan to drive down there for you to San Antonio, because that's what he
For
does
sure.
when he puts on a
Oh,
master class. Welcome, buddy.
Yeah.
San Antonio. Oh man, I don't know about that.
Get your
All right.
cowboy.
I was just
buddy.
there.
Get your
I did a business. I'm actually one of my half of my companies in San Antonio. So I'm actually there. Not pretty often. Not too often. It's not my favorite city in the world, but
So does that help, Sebastian?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right. I guess my biggest mental hurdle was the the kind of boots on the ground in due diligence aspect of it. So no, you're absolutely correct. You know, there's a lot of people in this community which are always looking to provide value and
Yep.
yeah. So I no, you're absolutely right with that. So I appreciate
But
that.
first, again, always make sure you find out who your cash buyers are in
Yep.
whichever market you want to get into,
Mhm.
what their buy box is, so you know to get the right property.
Correct. Yep. Awesome.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Bob.
You got
Thank
it.
everybody.
Yep. Did you smoke it, Dan, in your class? Was everybody standing up and cheering?
I think I did a good job. I think so.
All right.
You never really know. You never really know until the feedback comes through. But I slid out after my little piece. So this is like we're doing a so right now we're doing a course on stem cells. So everything about stem cells and adipose stem cell tissue. We're doing a whole entire course. We started this interactive course like last month, and we still have two more sessions to go. So it's exciting. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that I was actually going to be invited to be an instructor in this series. So it's cool that Dr. Loeb reached out to me and wanted me to be a part of this great event. So yeah, I'm happy to be kind of back into the health aspect and teaching people about health again. It's a cool feeling. And
So it's not like
we have a
real
great
estate.
product.
You actually know something about health. Is that what
I
you're
know,
saying?
I know a little bit. Believe it or not, you know what? Someone actually asked me the other day. They said they were, I guess the reel that I cut from my webinar last Friday. They said they go, I wish people would just stick to what they're an expert in and quit trying to act like they're an expert in everything.
Ooh.
And and I said, well, I'm not really sure what that what you're referring to. I'm not sure that how I'm not an expert in sales and marketing. I've only built 2 businesses that do multiple 6 figures a month, but maybe I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, but
that's the thing.
Everybody has their opinion, I guess.
If you're an expert in sales and marketing, you can pretty much dominate any industry or any business.
And I think it's the big thing that people miss out on. They think if you're doing have a marketing company, if you didn't start in marketing, they think that they go, oh, he's the health guy. What is this health guy doing? Teaching people about sales and marketing. Pick a team. I was like, I go, but the thing is with me is I was like, man, my clinic wouldn't even be doing the numbers that we're doing if I wasn't a sales and marketing guy, right? I transformed that business. When I got in, they were almost doing a little over $1 million a year. Now we're on our way. Hopefully by next year we'll be doing over $1 million a month. So that's the difference with the right tools and power and process in place.
Exactly right. Well, we're glad to have you here for the last 5, 10, 12 minutes.
Happy to be
Anybody else? Any other questions?
Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a busy day myself.
Taylor Larson's up here. Taylor, have a
He
question.
already asked his question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Missed out.
But if he has another one, he's welcome to ask.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Dan, did you tell that guy off when he questioned you?
No, I mean, I was pretty respectful actually in my response. So, I told him because I said, you're more than welcome never to come to Miami, and I'll be happy to,
Slap you around.
teach you how to be a sales and marketing expert. If you want to learn, you can see how I live, and tell me if I'm not an expert or not, so, that's usually my response.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, let's jump out of here and get busy.
Get busy. Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them that link. Post it on your Facebook timeline. Tag us on your Instagram stories at REI Revolution. Make sure you're following us if you haven't already.
Have a great day, everyone. Take care and keep grinding. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Taylor Larson. Thank you, everybody. Bye.